Whether you are looking for something to take to your family Thanksgiving gathering or something delicious to add to that holiday meal that you're hosting, or maybe just some cozy comfort food for a fall or winter evening, then I have a video for you. I'm going to be sharing 4 easy and delicious casserole recipes that you are going to love. Stay tuned. Tonight, I am making a really easy and budget-friendly casserole that I think stands on its own as a meal or can be used as a side dish. I have actually seen this casserole at potlucks. I've seen it served at holiday meals. I think it would work really fantastic if you wanted to add it to your Thanksgiving dinner or take it to the dinner that you are attending. It is a sausage rice casserole, and we're actually going to make this gluten-free as well. In my skillet, I have 1 pound of just plain pork sausage, and I also have some mirepoix. So I just chopped up a few stalks of celery, a couple of small carrots, and about half of an onion. I also added just a little bit of crushed red pepper flake, but I was out from my spice cabinet. But fortunately, I did have a few little packages from like the pizza place. You could leave that out if you don't like the kick, or you could just buy hot sausage, like spicy sausage. They just didn't have any at the store whenever I went, so that's why I just got the regular pork sausage. The other ingredient that these sausage rice casseroles usually have, I've seen lots of different kinds of recipes for these. They're all pretty similar, but most of them call for some kind of cream soup. And typically I would make it from scratch, but both the can and the from scratch recipe involve flour. They're not gluten-free, but I did find a recipe for a gluten-free version of a cream soup, and it actually looks even easier than my from scratch recipe for the standard cream of chicken soup. So we're gonna try it tonight, and if it goes well, it might be one that I utilize a lot more because it has even fewer ingredients and seems even easier to make than just the regular from scratch cream of chicken. I'm starting with 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth. I also need 3/4 of a cup of whole milk, and I actually didn't have any whole milk, so I made something similar using a 1/4 cup of heavy cream and half a cup of 2% milk. That's going to give me a very similar fat content to whole milk. Now, I do not have the heat turned on yet on my stove because I'm going to whisk in 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and you don't want to be whisking cornstarch into hot liquids because heat activates it, so it will immediately kind of clump up. That's why typically you use a cornstarch slurry. But in these recipes, you can actually start by whisking it into the cold ingredients and then turn the heat on. Now you want to season it however you like. Since I'm going to use this in the casserole, I'm going to season it with a little bit of Anti-No-No seasoning, probably about half a teaspoon, and also a little bit of Italian seasoning. You could use poultry seasoning to kind of deepen the chicken flavor if you wanted to, and a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. And then I'm just going to keep whisking this over medium heat until it starts to thicken up and reaches the consistency that I want it to be for my cream soup. You do want to stay right with it though, because it's the kind of thing that can scorch really easily if you're not careful. Okay, that worked really well, and it thickened up really quickly. So stay right with it, because 1 second it was very liquidy, and the next second it was thickening, and like 10 seconds later it was like this. It was this consistency. Now, we do not actually need to eat gluten-free. We're actually very fortunate that we don't really have any sensitivities or allergies that I'm working with in this household, but we do entertain a lot, and a lot of times there is somebody that we know or a family member who prefers to eat that way. But if you are trying to follow a gluten-free diet or other special dietary preferences like keto or low carb or vegan or paleo or Mediterranean, then you should check out Thrive Market. They're sponsoring today's video. Thrive Market is an online grocery retailer on a mission to make healthy living affordable for everybody. So you should definitely check it out, but especially if you have special dietary preferences or needs, you can actually sort from the thousands of natural and organic products that they have on their website or in their app that are priced below traditional retail value according to your lifestyle preferences. So if you are trying to eat gluten-free or low carb or Mediterranean, or you're looking for vegan or vegetarian products, you can actually sort according to that lifestyle and see the products and the prices that Thrive Market offers. Thrive Market shoppers can save up to 30% on their grocery grocery bill, but they have a savings guarantee. So if you actually find a product at a lower price in one of your local stores, they will match it. And it's easy to see that because you can actually open up the app, you can scan products that you see in the store, and you can see whether or not Thrive Market carries them and what the price is. I have my sausage and my veggies here in a 9x13 casserole dish, and I'm going to add 1 cup of white rice. I am using this white basmati rice from Thrive Market. This is one of my favorite products from them. I have repurchased this over and over again. And then I'm just gonna stir in my homemade gluten-free cream of soup and 2 cups of water. Standing here in my pantry and I see lots of stuff that I've purchased from Thrive Market. I love their tomato products, especially these fire roasted tomatoes. They are fantastic. I have lots of different kinds of beans. These are garbanzo beans. I also have refried beans, black beans, pinto beans. Love all the different kinds of pasta that they always had in stock. You remember it was hard to find pasta for a while or consistently, and I was usually able to get lots of different kinds. This is the farfalle, the bow tie pasta. I've got the spaghetti. These marinades came from Thrive Market. I love, love, love this one. I've used it to make a roast and also to make shredded chicken in the crock pot. Really delicious. These brown rice ramen bricks are what I use to make one of our favorite quick meals, the spicy ramen. I am often getting things for the children there, snacks and lunch packing items like applesauce pouches and Kind bars and different kinds of snacks that they can take with them to school, to swim practice. These grain-free brownie thins and chocolate mint from Lullaby, keto-friendly and paleo-friendly, those came from Thrive Market. The peanut butter puffs came from Thrive. The Julies and these vanilla blueberry Kind bars are a favorite of my oldest daughter, and I can only find them at Thrive Market. I don't see this flavor in my grocery store. Thrive Market has been a longtime supporter of my channel, and they have a great introductory offer today for my viewers. If you are wanting to try it out, when you sign up for a membership, just go to that link in the description box, or you go to thrivemarket.com/cmindymom. Get that annual membership. It's the best bang for your buck because it comes out to just about $5 per month. Plus, for every annual membership that is purchased, they gift one to a family in need. And when you sign up for that membership today, you're gonna get a free gift worth $60 plus 30% off your entire first order. So not only products that are offered below traditional retail value, they're gonna give you an extra 30% off on that first order. My casserole is in the oven now. It's gotta bake at 350 for about 30 minutes. I'll probably check on it after about 25. I do think that if you wanted to serve this as a side, we're gonna actually have it for dinner tonight, but as a side, I would probably double all of the ingredients save for the sausage. Like I would double the rice and the water and the cream of chicken recipe so that it would be more like a side dish, like a side starch, and then the sausage is just used to flavor it. And I actually think there would still be room for it in a regular 9x13-inch casserole. After I popped the casserole in the oven, I realized I should probably cover it with foil so that that would help the rice kind of steam in the casserole dish. And I ended up baking it for about 45 minutes total. I wanted to err on the side of caution and check on it after about 30 minutes because I was baking it in a shallower dish than I thought the amount called for. So it took mine about 45 minutes total. Oh man, that's really good. Really flavorful. Definitely a dish that stands on its own. Like I said, we're eating it for dinner tonight just as a meal with some veggies on the side, but this would make a fantastic side dish too. Really good. For such simple ingredients, thumbs up. 10 out of 10, would recommend. And also it's pretty budget friendly because it's utilizing rice, it's utilizing one of my favorite budget friendly proteins, sausage, some mirepoix, you know, just those standard veggies that are usually pretty cheap, and some basic seasonings that you probably already have. It is a very blustery fall day here in Oklahoma. The wind is high, we're gonna have some rain, there's a cold front behind it. It is basically the perfect evening for some casseroles. So I am going to make a couple of those up for dinner. But first things first, I've got the oven preheating because I need to cook some bacon. If I can figure out where I set it down. It's right here. First things first, cook the bacon. I feel like that should come first a lot of the time because bacon makes everything better, right? Cooking the bacon, smelling the bacon cooking, eating the bacon. Who doesn't like bacon? Psst, shh. I gotta tell you a secret. We're going to make an amazing mashed potato casserole. It is a loaded mashed potato casserole, but here's the secret. Don't tell Grandma, don't tell Aunt Sally that we're using already prepared mashed potatoes. They will not know if you don't tell them. My bacon is done. I cooked it in the oven on a foil-lined cookie sheet, and it is resting on a paper towel now and smelling absolutely amazing. And in my bowl here, I have 2 of these containers of Bob Evans family size mashed potatoes, the 32-ounce family size. I did pop each one in the microwave for about 2 minutes just so they wouldn't be ice cold in here, so they would be easier to mix with the other things that we are adding. I'm going to add 1 cup of sour cream. Yummy. About a cup of grated cheddar cheese. I'm gonna season mine with some anti-no-nos. You could use onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. These potatoes are already seasoned, so I'm not gonna go too overboard with the seasoning, probably just about half a teaspoon or so. Little splash of milk, mix it all up. I'm going to pour that into a baking dish. This is actually more like a cake pan than a casserole dish, but it will do for this just fine. And then I am going to sprinkle about 6 or 8 pieces of bacon crumbled up over the top of it. Gotta make sure I evenly distribute the bacon there. Oh, good. Doesn't that look amazing? But wait, there's more. In this bowl here, I am putting 2 cups of cornflakes, plain cornflakes, not to be confused with frosted flakes. Don't ask me how I know that. Don't ask me how I may have learned that lesson back when I was in high school, that cornflakes and frosted flakes are not the same thing. Smash, smash, smash. I'm gonna throw in, if I can get it to break up here, about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, just the like green can grated Parmesan cheese, like that, boop. And half a stick or 4 tablespoons of butter. Ooh boy. Can it really be a Thanksgiving side dish if it doesn't involve butter in some way? I don't think so. And now I'm just gonna like sprinkle this over the top, the crumb mixture. Oh, this is gonna be so good. It already smells amazing and I haven't even heated it up yet. Once I finish topping this, it goes into a 350-degree oven until it's heated through. We'll probably take it right around 30 minutes or so. Look at that. Now, I have had some people tell me that they do not care for, or their family does not care for casseroles, and quite honestly, I don't resonate with that. Those people are clearly not my people. And they're probably not watching this video, or maybe they have X'd out already. I grew up in a large family. I am the 4th of 5 children, so in a family of 7, I feel like casseroles are just a way of life. In fact, if you were to make a graph and put on one axis the number of people in the family and the other axis the likelihood that casseroles would be on the menu, you'd have one of those curves that like keeps getting steeper. What is that called? I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's been like 25 years since I've had math. Like an exponential curve, is that what it's called? Basically, the odds go up that you're gonna be eating casseroles the more people that are in your family. I think so. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm right. Or if you think I'm wrong. I mean, you know, that doesn't usually stop people. But in all seriousness, casseroles are just a really efficient, budget-friendly way to get people fed. They travel really well. Lots of times you can make them ahead of time and then heat them up when it's time for dinner. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why they're on the menu a lot of times at holiday meals, especially at Thanksgiving, which is coming up very soon. My oldest daughter really loves green bean casserole, just kind of the traditional recipe that comes from French's Fried Onions. Maybe it's from Campbell's. Where's the original green bean casserole recipe from? I can't remember. But my neighbor actually has a recipe that looks really interesting to me that I want to try. And this neighbor, she has some pretty amazing recipes. She actually dabbles in the food space. You might have heard of her. Her name is Ree, but most people know her as the Pioneer Woman. Okay, I know, I jest, but Pioneer Woman is from Oklahoma. I live in Tulsa, and Pawhuska is just a little bit that way, a little bit like an hour that way, but I like to refer to her as my neighbor. I don't actually know her, but I know people who know her, and they say that she's really nice. I have several Pioneer Woman cookbooks, and the recipe we're using today is coming from this one. I think it's the very first of her cookbooks. I'll leave it linked in the description box. On the stove, I have melted 4 tablespoons of butter. That's half a stick or 1/4 cup of butter. And now I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of flour and use my whisk to make a roux. I just want to stir this with my whisk, or whisk it with my whisk, over medium-low heat until it starts to form a paste. Now we are going to make a bechamel or a white sauce by whisking in slowly 3 cups of dairy. The Pioneer Woman recipe calls for 2.5 cups of whole milk and half a cup of half and half, but I only had 2% milk. So what I'm using is 1.5 cups of half and half and 1.5 cups of 2% milk so that I could sort of up the fat content and the dairy that I had. I had to turn my heat up to medium and it is thickening up now, so I'm gonna go ahead and season this. PW uses salt and pepper and a little bit of cayenne. So just, you know, let your heart be your guide. I'm also going to start stirring in 1 cup of grated cheddar cheese. Now, PW uses fresh green beans that she blanches in salted water on the stove for 3 minutes and then cools off. I went ahead and just went with frozen green beans. I got 3 12-ounce bags of frozen green beans and I just popped them into the microwave for a couple minutes each so that they wouldn't be completely frozen. You can do whatever you like. That's just sort of the shortcut that I took tonight, and because the fresh green beans just didn't look that good in the grocery store today. Now comes 1 jar of pimentos. It does say in the recipe that you can sub just some chopped red bell pepper if you don't want the pimentos in this, but I thought this was interesting, so we're gonna go with the pimentos. Drained, I did drain them. And then 4 slices of cooked bacon crumbled. Once I stir this sauce all together, I'm just pouring it over the green beans in a casserole dish. And then Ms. Drummond says to top that with 1 cup of breadcrumbs and bake it in the oven at 350. This already smells amazing. This sauce smells so good. This is gonna be fantastic. Would it be a casseroles video if we didn't also share something that you can have for breakfast? I don't think so. And I'm especially thinking, you know, when you're like the host and you have to make like the flagship meal, but you have all the other meals you have to make, or if you are a guest somewhere, be a hero, show up with this next casserole. It uses a shortcut ingredient. It's gonna be amazing. Let's do it. We are using Rhodes Thaw, Rise, and Bake cinnamon rolls, and I let mine thaw out just long enough that I could use my clean kitchen shears here to chop them into, or to cut them into 4 pieces each, and then I'm just dropping them into this 9x13 that I sprayed with nonstick spray. You also want to hold on to the cream cheese frosting packets that came with it. We're going to use those later, and wait until you see what we do with those because it's going to be amazing. Cinnamon rolls, check. In this little Star Wars Ziploc bag are 8 graham crackers that I'm going to crush. Oops, I made a little mess. Dump those in my bowl and add half a cup of brown sugar. I assume this needs to be packed, right? 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Does anybody else just use the cap to measure when you're just lazy and don't want to walk over to the drawer where the teaspoons are? Is it just me? Okay, I mean, it's cinnamon. It'd be hard to overdo cinnamon and cinnamon rolls, wouldn't it? This also calls for some chopped pecans. You can leave those out if you want. I'm just gonna put a few in. We're not huge fans of nuts in our baked goods, so I'll go pretty easy on that. I need a spoon. Here we go, okay. Stir that all together. This recipe is coming from a website called thecreativemom.com. I will leave it linked in the description box below, but another optional ingredient was some finely chopped apples, which I am throwing all over the floor. So I had a couple of Granny Smith apples that I needed to use anyway in the crisper in the refrigerator, so I just peeled them. I chopped them up really finely. I'm gonna put those over the top here. I don't even think I'll need them all. I don't wanna overdo it. There we go, that's good enough. I'll just eat these. Sprinkle this good stuff over the top. This also seems like a lot, but I don't know. I'm gonna rise a little bit, so. Okay, now. Okay, hold on, let me. If you were wanting to get a head start on these for the morning and start doing some of the prep the night before, then this is where I would stop the night before. And I would cover them with saran wrap and I would put them into the refrigerator, and the cinnamon rolls might rise a little bit in the fridge overnight, but that's okay. In the morning, I would come back to it and I would add 1 stick of butter that you just pour right over the top. And that melted butter is gonna help the Rhodes rolls, the cinnamon rolls, come back up to room temperature. And I would just let them sit on the counter and rise a little bit until they have doubled in size before we pop them into the oven. My cinnamon rolls have definitely doubled up. They are almost to the top of the pan now, so I'm going to bake these in a 350-degree oven. I'm gonna check mine at 20 minutes and then 5 minutes in like 5-minute increments until they look like they're done. Here's where the real magic happens. To finish these off, we're gonna take the 2 packets of cream cheese icing that came with the cinnamon rolls and put them into a bowl with 1 cup of caramel ice cream topping. Now you wanna make sure you get the caramel sauce that comes in the jar and not the caramel syrup, because that's a lot thinner. And then we're going to stir that together and pour it over the top of the cinnamon roll bites. And oh, I can hardly wait to taste these. Leave me a comment and let me know if you plan to try one of these casseroles out. And also don't forget to check out Thrive Market. They're linked in the description box below, or you can go to thrivemarket.com/cmindymom to check out their offer. 30% off your first order plus a free gift worth $60 when you sign up for a membership. Thank you again to them for sponsoring and to you for watching.